I am doing salmon a different way. I call this salmon melon eggs. And we are going, I've got my oven, you know me, I like to have everything on high. So I've got my oven on 425 convection, and I went to Trader Joe's and I got two of these. And let's see, how much is this? This is a pound, a little over a pound. So this is like, two, maybe three servings right in here. And it's got the skin on, if you can see, it's got the skin on one side. And this is the just fresh Atlantic salmon, and it's $8.99 a pound. So that's pretty reasonable, a little cheaper than over at Whole Foods, but I like that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start off with that salmon, and I am going to put the release in my pan, my glass bowl. I'm going to take the salmon out of here. Remember I said about putting a little bit of salt? It's from the ocean, so you want to put just a little bit of salt on this. Got to wash my hands. I'm always washing my hands, always washing my hands. So I'm going to do Italian style today. And I've got a little bit of basil. I went up in my yard and I picked some fresh basil. We're going to be talking about herbs and, herbs and salt and pepper and spices. That's what makes life. That's what brings out the flavor in our food. So I've got a yellow onion here, and I'm going to julienne it, and then I'm going to cube it. Okay, I'm going to add a little salt just over the salmon, just a little. And I'm going to drizzle, maybe I won't do that. I'm going to just spray it on the top. Okay, then I'm going to take these onions, put it right over the top, and then I'm going to do the tomatoes. I don't even take the core out on that. I'm just going to go like this. These are, oh, I gotta let you see that. These are Roma tomatoes, and they're just starting to come into season now. I think they're the best for when you're cooking something like this, like sauteing up with onions and Roma tomatoes and a little basil. Goes wonderful over chicken. You can hit it with a little balsamic vinegar at the end. So I'm gonna just go like this. Going to, so that salmon is going to be poached. I put it in a real high heat oven. This is going to caramelize on the top, because we know that all carbohydrates have a little bit of sugar in it. And when it's a high heat, a little fat with that carbohydrate, it's going to get a nice brown on it. Okay, that is it. I'm going to take my dried rosemary, basil, put a little dried basil, and then when this comes out, I'll put a little fresh basil. So we got this, we got a little salt on the top, not much. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven, 425. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. And I put the skin down. Okay, now we're going to work on our Brussels sprouts. So what I've done here, I've kept a few. I've taken them and I take off the top and I go like this. If you don't feel comfortable with doing this in your hand, then you can go like this. Just hold it with your fingers. Remember, you got to protect your fingers all the time. And what we're going to do is just kind of, you can use a mandolin too. So you can do them on a mandolin. If you don't have a mandolin, you can do it right with your serrated knife or your knife. And I'm going to get my pan nice and hot. So I showed you before, when you leave the top off, the water evaporates. If you leave the top on after you saute it, It's going to hold in the moisture. So I'm going to saute and steam at the same time these Brussels sprouts. They will, and they're going to cook real quickly, and they're going to get a nice brown. By the way, this isn't aerosol. So I put a little olive oil in here. I put a little salt, of course, because I love salt. And as soon as it starts to get a little brown, I know that it's ready. So this is about all that I lose on my Brussels sprout, is this little part that you can't eat because it's kind of tough. It comes off the stem. Have you ever gotten them at Whole Foods or at Trader Joe's, the whole stalk of the Brussels sprouts? It's amazing. I get them for my students so that they can see that they grow straight up. They're like a stalk. They get about this high, and then you can just take them off. They're really wonderful. Or you can take the whole stalk and you can spray it with olive oil spray and a little salt, and you can put them right on the barbecue, or you can pop them in your oven and you can bake the whole stalk in the oven. It's really wonderful. So I've got this going, getting pretty hot. I see my salt starting to get a little brown, which is what I want. And now I'm going to put my Brussels sprouts in here. I use the spray so I don't tend to over oil, put too much fat onto my vegetables. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, I think, has about 110 calories, but a spray goes a long way. I don't count calories, but I do pay attention to the amount of fat, because if I'm going to spend a tablespoon of fat when I could have a big salad or I could have more vegetables, I'd rather do that. Okay, so I've got these going. My little bit of salt. I have just a little bit of food release on here. And now they're going to brown and steam at the same time. So I'm not going to lose a lot of weight on that because I've got the lid on it, and it's going to get this nice brown. You're going to see that. We'll shuffle it around, but I leave it on real high heat. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at herbs. Now I've got fresh dill here, and I've got fresh cilantro. I love these in a salad. So delicious. So what I've done is I've taken, and I've shown you before, like with the rosemary, same type of thing. You just kind of strip it off there. You do the same thing with the dill. You take it and you just take your fingernails and run it like this. And this stalk doesn't taste good. But you can keep it in a little container, airtight container in your refrigerator, not more than a couple of days, and you can add it. I'm going to add some of that dill right here to my Brussels sprouts. Dill and Brussels sprouts is really good. Or you can put fresh herbs right into your salad, which is what I'm going to do for Rose today. So I'm doing the same thing with my cilantro. I'm taking it off the stem, just like this. So I'm going to put the stems to the side, and all I've got is these wonderful leaves. Now, you can add this you can take like a jar of salsa, you know, the jar of salsa, and it's kind of chopped up. And you can take, and it's, what are you using? What kind of salsa are you using? Can you show me that jar that you have?
The one from Trader Joe's?
Yeah. So at Trader Joe's, they have this salsa, and you can see, it's kind of liquidy right there. It's liquid, doesn't have any chunks, no tomatoes, no basil, no anything. But what you could do is you can take some yellow onion and those Roma tomatoes, and you can chop it up, and you can cilantro, onions, and tomatoes, and you add this to it, and you can make your own pico de gallo because you have the flavor from the salsa with all of those fresh ingredients. It is wonderful. It is wonderful. That's a nice secret for you. Okay, so I'm going to set these to the side. Then for lunch today, I'm making tofu for me. That is my lunch. And I've got the cauliflower from yesterday. So I am going to grill up my tofu. But today, when I grill up my tofu, I'm going to put cilantro on it. And so I take it and I cut it like this in the cubes. Tofu has no flavor to it. So whatever spice you put on there is what it's going to take up that flavor. So here are my, and I don't know if you can see, they're starting to get brown. So you can roast them in the oven. Can you see that? See that brown right there? Oh, these are gonna be delicious. So if you've ever had the, hold on, let me get another frying pan here. If you've ever had the Brussels sprouts at Gott's, they deep fry them. And they have this, the Brussels sprouts are just like this, they shave them. And then they deep fry them and they're kind of crispy on the outside, but they're deep fried so they're really oily. And it's like, I like the crispness, I like that brown, but I wanted to make something healthier. So this is my alternative to the Brussels sprouts that they have at Gott's, is to be able to do them like this. And when they're all done, you're gonna see, they are absolutely delicious. So I'm gonna put a little salt. I put a little grease release, my olive oil. I am going to put some pepper. So this is how I'm doing my tofu. And then last week I put rosemary. This week I'm going to be putting dill. So I've already taken off the stem. Bragg's amino acid is wonderful. Instead of using the spray, you can use, just take a paper towel and put sesame oil in there, and it'll get the taste of the sesame oil, which is really good too. So that is browning. Excellent. Oh, my salmon is starting to smell so good. Okay, so I've got everything brown here. I'm going to put my tofu here. So I got a couple of meals going here, which is usually how I cook. And now that I know that you guys have all the techniques, you guys can multitask too. So here are my Brussels sprouts that are really browning up nicely. So I've got a nice crispy brown on the outside for these Brussels sprouts. And now I'm going to turn the heat down because it has enough brown on there. And I'm going to let them just steam finish. Turn it down to like medium. I got my tofu going. I got my herbs all ready. So I'm going to bring over this pineapple. So you saw how I do the cantaloupe and the honeydew. So when I'm doing a fruit platter, I always get a cantaloupe, a honeydew, and a pineapple. And the night before, I peel them, like the cantaloupe and the honeydew, what I did, I peel them, leave them whole, I wrap them up so that they're fresh for the next day. And then I go to put my fruit platter together. I get some strawberries, I get a thing of raspberries and blueberries, and then I'll get a platter and I'll slice up or cube up cantaloupe, honeydew, pineapple, and then I'll sprinkle the blueberries and the strawberries on there, make this really nice fruit platter. So what we do is we take our pineapple and we hold it and we saw and we take off the top and we take off the bottom. So I'm not losing a lot. If it's a nice top, you can use that for decoration in the center. This one isn't so nice. So then I'm going to go take my serrated knife and I'm going to go right around and I go just under the skin. And I do this. And because I have the bottom flat, I can move it right around. Right now over at Whole Foods, these are on sale for $2.99 and they're really nice. In fact, I got a nice cantaloupe today and I'm gonna, this has a little dark spots on it, I'm gonna take off. I got a nice cantaloupe today for $2.99 and it looked amazing. So then I cut it in half and I cut it in fourths. This is the part that is kind of tough, the core. So I'm going to cut out the core. Set that to the side. This goes in my compost. Turn my tofu. And that's browning up really nice too. Oh my goodness, my goodness. Before I turn that. A little more of this, a little more salt. So we have the flavors on each side. A little more dill. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over. Where's my spoon? And basically, this tofu is picking up all of the flavors. Now, at this point, if I wanted to put a little tamari, or I wanted to put a little Bragg's amino acid, I could throw that on here and it'll pick up the nice flavors of that, or just leave it the way it is. I like it just toasted like this. And then I'm gonna have this on brown rice with cauliflower today. And then I'm going to make a nice kale salad, a massage kale salad. I'll show you that in just a minute. Rose, could you hand me the cantaloupe, the honeydew out of the refrigerator from yesterday? Okay, so this is grilling. Perfect. Oh, my lunch is gonna be so good today, I can't wait. So if you can see that has a really nice color to it. So I'm gonna turn this down. So this here, these are amazing, amazing. They're not dripping in oil, but they are pan fried and steamed. So good, so good. So this is done. So we're gonna check on our salmon right now. So there's our salmon kind of coming along. It's kind of bubbling at the bottom, so it's poaching inside of it. It's taking up all the flavor from those onions and tomatoes. Okay, all right, good, good. All right, so we had this this honeydew from yesterday. I'm gonna take out the seeds. Okay, so this is ready to go now. And I've got this cantaloupe that I just bought today that is gorgeous. Always wash your fruit out on the outside so you don't want to get, in case there's any dirt. It's not that you can kill the bacteria that's on there, but you can not get dirt in your fruit salad. You know, we have, I was talking yesterday about digestion. There's a lot of acid in your stomach that breaks your food down. It also kills a lot of the things that come on your food. Your body was set up to like filter and clean everything up. So our bodies do a lot. If we keep it in good shape and feed it good things. Bless you, Rose. I'm gonna take out the seeds. Okay, so this one we won't need the whole one. So I'm going to take a couple of these pineapples I'm going to go right like this. I'm going to take I'm going to do it like this so that you've got nice slices. Always protecting your fingers. Always protecting your fingers. So I'm going to put that there. I could have used a bigger bowl, but you're getting the idea, right? Okay, so I've got my cantaloupe, my honeydew, my pineapple. Hold your fingers, thumb in the back. So you got a real nice fruit plate, and you can see you can put some berries on top there. Wonderful. I'm going to separate this all out, put it in little containers, and then as we want to do a fruit display at night, if you keep it in a sealed container, it'll last a couple of days. If you don't chop it all up, it'll last a little bit longer. Okay? So I always like to put out a fruit plate at night or at lunchtime or at breakfast. Again, our mantra is eat the fruit. Don't drink the juice. Okay? Great. I'm going to stick this to the side. Washing my hands again. As I go through, I'm going to wash this also. You can see in less than a half an hour, all of the food that you can make. And I'm talking and doing all this at the same time. So I'm going to make myself a little salad. So I'm going to do, I've shredded, remember yesterday we shredded up, or it was the day before we shredded up our kale. So I'm going to take my kale, I'm going to do 2 ounces of kale, and that will be a lot. So this is 2 ounces right here. Perfect. Then I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to add this to it. And then I'm going to massage it. This is going to break it down. So I know I get a 6-ounce salad. So I'm massaging this kale, kind of breaking the fiber walls. I'm going to add a little dill to this because I like the flavors of it. I'm going to add a little cilantro to this. So I've got kale, cilantro. Nice. Okay. So I'm zeroing it out again. Perfect. And then I'm going to add some cherry tomatoes. Could you hand me a cucumber too, Rose? Thank you. So I'm going to put 2 ounces of tomatoes. And some fresh. So my total will be 4 ounces. Perfect. And I'm going to add just a little tamari because I didn't add any salt. And that's my salad for today. Yum. So I've got my tofu that I'm going to be having on the side with cauliflower and brown rice. So there's my salad. There's my tofu. Here's my amazing Brussels sprouts. They are all done. You can see that those are kind of crispy. So I've got this and my tofu and my salad. And my melons, all my herbs. Yum! And now I'm going to check my salmon. And my salmon's done. So I don't know if you can see that, and it is poached perfectly with these wonderful tomatoes on the side, or on the top rather. Just amazing. Okay, what do you guys think? It's lunchtime. So we got lunch and dinner and lots of veggies and salads. Everything here is good for here. And the more you cook, the better you feel and the more you're involved. So enjoy. Remember, herbs and spices are the spice of life. Thank you. See you.